Folks, it's October, so it's officially spooky season. It is also roughly the anniversary of the only Halloween-themed app/game I've ever made. So I thought there couldn't be a better opportunity to talk about that time I tried to sell out for Halloween. If you aren't already aware, my name is Tess Fraser. I'm a game dev and content creator. And on this channel, we talk about everything tech news, game development, and even art. So please make sure to like this video, subscribe to appease the YouTube gods, and encourage my continued transparency in my game dev journey. Speaking of that journey, there is a time in every independent creator's life where you think to yourself, I need to come up with an idea to make a quick buck. And in 2016, I thought I could do that with Halloween. Not only are people obsessed with Halloween here in the States, I also thought that parents in particular spend so much money doing Halloween things with the kids that this would be an easy market to approach. So the idea was simple: a jack-o'-lantern creator. From 2004 to 2016, I feel like there were a trillion dress-up doll apps. And like design a hairstyle or make your perfect house, car, kitchen, whatever. Customizable apps for kids was a big thing. And I thought to myself, this is gonna be an instant hit. Now here's the thing. I came up with this idea in October. So this was gonna be a very, very fast turnaround if I wanted it available for the upcoming season. So the initial release of the app was created in about a week. So the game plan was you'd swipe through a handful of pumpkin shapes, then you choose eyes, mouth, and color for all of these things. You choose a background and then you can draw, resize it, etc. The idea here was to make like a postcard, I guess, or something you could print out and send to other people or color. I hit up my good friend Crystal and I basically said, yo, do you think you can whip me up some graphics incredibly fast for cheap? And she said, say less. But you know, in 2016 vernacular. And just like that, for literally, I think less than $20, I made Pumpkin Picker. It went on the stores initially, I think at 99 cents, and then fluctuated between $1.99 and $2.99. Now I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound too bad. And honestly, it really wasn't, except I probably designed the worst UI known to man. Like, truly horrific stuff that we are going to go through. There just really wasn't any foresight anywhere. I feel like the swiping was really clunky. The fact that each of the changes you made were on a separate page. So if you wanted to make a change, you would flip all the way back, undoing everything. These color swatches will forever haunt my soul, just because they could have been paint blotches, crayons, markers, anything. I had access to an entire color wheel that had the full RGB spectrum and transparency. So the fact that I chose 6 random colors is insane. And like, I had no good reason not to implement that here. Unless I was thinking, what was I gonna do with all the newly empty space? But even then, like, that was a bad idea. Truly awful design decisions. At least you got to choose some pretty backgrounds, I guess. Now this is hands down the most poorly designed part of this application. This little action bar I made is so incredibly unintuitive. I know I was literally a teenager, but the cringe is intense. And I want to note that this is a redesign. Whatever was before this was worse and of a lesser quality. So let's step through it. D was for draw, and when enabled allowed you to draw over the screen, but not over the pumpkin because I couldn't conceptualize display groups yet. I also apparently did bad math on the position of the elements, which is why the buttons are off the island. I then defaulted the color to gray for some reason. L and R for rotation, left and right. You know, despite things like pinch to zoom and rotate being very, very commonplace, some might even say standard practice, I thought that was too hard to implement at the time, and this was my solution. I also did not add in a way to know when you were back to position 0. So sorry to all the folks that can notice the off alignment. Plus and minus is the size of the pumpkin. And instead of making a button and putting text on top, I made the text a button instead. So there's actually a bug you can encounter where the event listener messes up and you can infinitely zoom out. And as a nice bonus, you are unable to do anything else on the screen. Who said bug? No, silly, it's not a bug, it's a feature. And it's also highly reproducible. I was writing this script and I immediately did it on my first try. Last but not least, we have the color wheel, which, while really ugly, does exactly what it's supposed to do. I could have probably made the background update in real time though. But you know what they say, hindsight is 80-20 when you're no longer a 19-year-old trying to make money off the capitalistic nature of American holidays, or whatever they say. Look, I know I just spent a lot of time bashing Pumpkin Picker, but honestly, there are some things I did love and enjoy about it. For one, you can make some really cool pumpkins if you locked in. I also love the little gallery where you could swipe through your creations. I like a lot of the easing animations that you see when you click on buttons. And I actually stole some of that 6 years later when I made swiped words. It wasn't all bad. The start screen was bad though. There's a weird pause in the beginning before the random faces are made. And it's because I was so bad at timers and delays. I guess I wanted it to be at first a static face, and then if you idle too long, then it'll switch them up. And I just conceptually couldn't really figure that out. Now here's one thing I haven't talked about. I tried to sell out, but did it work? Drum roll please. Kinda? I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear, but I'll explain why. Sales were not fantastic, and I even decided to make the app free on Android and then display ads instead. Now, I don't have the complete financial data, but here's what I do have. I made $10.80 on ads, $5.16 on Google Play, and $25 on Apple. And honestly, the Amazon stuff is either gone or just too hard to find. But I know it did better than Google Play, but probably worse than iPhone. So between $6 and $25. I also think I did a weird Amazon arcade situation, but that's besides the point. In total, I estimate that I made between $47 and $66. Now remember, it only cost me $20 to develop Pumpkin Picker. So I technically doubled my investment and then some. So I'm chalking this one up to the win column. It may have not been the cash cow I was hoping for, but not only did I not lose money on it, I in fact turned a profit. Now, I did not mention that the app stores and the taxmen definitely take their cut, but that still should have left me with a profit, probably. Anyways, thank you for watching this video about my silly little Halloween app, and let me know about a time you may have tried to sell out and what that experience was like. I also have many more stories about various games and apps that I've made, how much money I made making them, and how I went about it. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, drop a like on this video and please subscribe. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you could help me do that with a simple click. Once again, my name is Tess Fraser, and I'll see you in the next one.